Alrighty. Well, the lighting is whatever, but it's kind of not what it's about for this particular one. Now it's kind of focusing on me a little bit more. I honestly don't care about that. I kind of would rather it focus out there so you can see the mountain a little bit better. Cool. Well, last night we did some fire breathing here at camp to encourage the staff a little bit. I gave a little encouragement to the staff, and I don't think I had very eloquent words. I didn't think about it that hard. I'm not that good at that part of it. But my sweet, beautiful wife Caroline is very, very good at that part of it, and I'm always impressed. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to say. I'll wait till the end." But then she just starts opening her mouth, and she's like, fantastic and wonderful. So that's the woman I married. So I feel very grateful. Feel very, very blessed. Sonny Durr said something to me a few years ago that I thought was super, super good and super important as it relates to my primary ministry being my family. It's not only my responsibility to shepherd my own gifts that the Lord has gifted me with well, but it's also my responsibility to shepherd my wife's gifts well and create opportunity, create space, create time for her to serve the Lord with what it is that He has gifted her with. So that's a thing I want to improve on, and a thing I want to get better at, and a thing I want to work on and do. And yeah, she's incredibly, incredibly gifted, and I'd like to make sure that I'm addressing that. Very interesting reading this book, being up here at Forest Home. I mean, first off, it is, I don't know what Evan Lewer, I don't know how to say his last name. I don't know what Evan's position is, but he's one of the highest commands here at Forest Home, overseeing everything at Forest Home. And the only person above him, to the best of my understanding, I don't know exactly how their structure works, but Gary would be the only person over Evan. And it was Evan who recommended this book. And it is very fascinating to hear stories from the staff and hear perspectives from the staff and have it directly make me think of something from this book, where, I don't know, it's just it's unique for sure. Listening to some of the staff talk about leadership and working with the other managers, and just interesting. I'm not going to make any comments or diagnoses or anything like that. But it is very, very cool and very interesting to see the things from this book that are directly correlate to what I'm hearing from staff about certain dysfunctions, which is inevitable. It's very, very difficult to have perfect unity quickly. That's just kind of my perspective. And everything at camp is quickly. So you can do your best with the training during orientation, but you got to hope that you've hired the right people. That's part of it. You've got to hope that the right people buy into the leadership. You've got to hope, and we have Jesus, so we have great hope. We have this hope. That's a fun song. I'm going to sing it real quick. It was a song we used to sing at Adventure Mountain, I believe. We have this hope, as an anchor for our soul. If we're insecure, we have this anchor for our soul. We have this hope, as an anchor for our soul. For insecure, we have this anchor for our soul. For I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to stand up for our Lord. Da 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 da. Anyways, that's the whole song basically. I don't think there was any more parts to it, but anyways, funny. I think it was probably just written by one of the staff leads that year. And I probably watched How I Met Your Mother that year. So I probably was like, oh, they must have also watched How I Met Your, but it's also just a song. So it's like, anyways, beside the point. There's a lot of things up at Forest Home that you gotta pray go right. And you gotta pray that the Lord is in. For you to have a limited amount of dysfunction at Forest Home. And you're going to have some amount of dysfunction no matter what, especially when you have limited leadership leading a large group of people, and the limited leadership's next chain of command is people that are only hired for the summer. It's a challenge for sure. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I love camp though. I love the problems that are at camp. I love thinking through solutions to problems, and I'm very excited to be here and to be thinking about camp and thinking about how Caro and I could bless this mountain next year. What we could do to be present here, regardless of payment or regardless of compensation or not. So it's kind of some interesting things just thinking through. Right now, down at the lake, I think it's Wild Rock is what is going on down there. Wild Rock is the new name of the 5th and 6th grade age camp. So when Caro and I worked here, it was called Adventure Mountain, was 5th and 6th grade, and the Village was 3rd and 4th grade, and now they've combined into one singular group on the other side of the hill from here called Wild Rock. And this side of the creek, you've got Lakeview and Creekside that also have combined, but they have not gotten a new singular name for, I think they just call it Youth Camp. Maybe it'd be nice if they came up with a better name than Youth Camp, but Youth Camp is probably fine. Wild Rock is a good name. Adventure Mountain was a great name. The Village was a great name. Lakeview's a good name. Creekside's a good name. And maybe they just don't want to come up with one singular name to combine Lakeview and Creekside. And that is just kind of how the language goes. We call it that side of the mountain, this side of the mountain. But anyways, enough talking about Forest Home. I've got 14 or so pages left in this section that I'm hoping to finish in this read through. I'm on page 100, and this section ends at page 114. And I would at least like to finish that. I don't know how long part 3 is. I'm very curious, the reason I brought up Wild Rock, I'm very curious if the music from their lake day is catching on my microphone. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. All right. I am almost done with part 2, which is lighting the fire. And once I'm done with that, there's only, I don't know, 115 to 185. What is that? 60 more pages left after that. And I think I probably read at least 60 pages in the last couple days. So probably don't have that many more read-throughs for this book in general, but also for the fable part of it. Because What I'm remembering is that this book is split up into the fable, which is the story that we're reading right now, and then the model. And the model is not very long. It's a note about time, Catherine's methods, a special tribute to teamwork. There's another several pages past that. But anyways, we're just going to keep on reading and continue on. Before I start, I'll take a couple good pictures of this book. One of them I'll take it right here. In fact, I'll take it right now. It's a good picture. Alrighty. I'm use that one as the thumbnail for this particular video. It'd be nice. Go take one inside later. Maybe I'll go move the camera inside to show me taking that picture. My daughter is napping right now. I'm hoping that she stays asleep for 14 more pages. I'm assuming, I don't even remember what this section was called. Probably the offsite. Part 2, lighting the fire. Part 3 is called heavy lifting. Part 4 is traction. So, lighting the fire. No matter how many times Catherine, this one is called film noir. So, here we go. No matter how many times Catherine had built or refurbished teams, she never got used to watching the inevitable ebbs and flows. Why can't we just make progress in one fell swoop? She asked herself. In theory, with Mikey and Martin now seemingly on board, it should have been relatively easy to make the team work. But Catherine knew that reality did not usually match theory. She still had a long way to go. 2 years of behavioral reinforcement around politics is a tough thing to break, and one lecture, no matter how compelling, is not going to do it. The painful, heavy lifting was still to come. With just a few hours until the end of the first offsite, Catherine was tempted to end the session early and send everyone back to work on a relative high. But that would have been a waste of 2 critical hours, she thought. She needed to make as much progress as possible soon to ensure that the board wouldn't be tempted to cut her efforts short. I got a little distracted. Again, this is how it went last time when I started reading in the beginning of the video. I'm going to reread that last paragraph. With just a few hours until the end of the first offsite, interesting that it says first offsite, Catherine was tempted to end the session early and send everyone back to work on a relative high. But that would have been a waste of 2 critical hours, she thought. So, she thought, she needed to make as much progress as possible soon to ensure that the board wouldn't be tempted to cut her efforts short. When the group had returned from their break, Catherine decided to introduce a relatively entertaining discussion topic relating to conflict, one that would hold their interest late in the day. Let's talk about conflict. She felt the room sink just a little at the prospect of talking on such a touchy subject, but Catherine was actually looking forward to this part. Someone tell me what the single most important arena or setting for conflict is. After a pause, Nick took a stab. Meetings. Yes, meetings. If we cannot learn to engage in productive ideological conflict during meetings, we are through. Jan smiled. I'm not joking when I say that. Our ability to engage in passionate, unfiltered debate about what we need to do to succeed will determine our future as much as any products we develop or partnerships we sign. It was late in the afternoon now, and Catherine sensed her team was drifting into post-lunch food coma. Her words didn't seem to be getting through to them. and she would have to make this meeting interesting if she had any chance of making it stick. How many of you would rather go to a meeting than a movie? No hands went up. Why not? After a pause, Jeff realized that her question was not a rhetorical one, because movies are more interesting, even the bad ones. His peers chuckled. Catherine smiled. Right. But if you really think about it, meetings should be at least as interesting as movies. Making sure my wife wasn't the one who was texting me. Right, but if you really think about it, meetings should be at least as interesting as movies. My son, Will, went to film school, and I learned from him that meetings and movies have a lot in common. The group seemed more doubtful than intrigued, but at least Catherine had their interest for the moment. Think about it this way. A movie, on average, runs anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours in length. Staff meetings are about the same. Heads nodded politely. And yet meetings are interactive, whereas movies are not. We can't yell at the actor on screen, "Don't go into the house, you idiot." Most of the group laughed. Are they actually starting to like me now? Catherine wondered in a brief and uncharacteristic moment of insecurity. She went on, and more importantly, movies have no real impact on our lives. They don't require us to act a certain way based on the outcome of the story, and yet meetings are both interactive and relevant. We get to have our say, and the outcome of any given discussion often has a very real impact on our lives. So why do we dread meetings? No one answered, so Catherine prodded them. Come on, why do we hate them? They're boring. Mikey seemed to enjoy her answer more than she should have. Right, they're boring. And to understand why, all we need to do is compare them to films. Now the group was starting to get interested again. Catherine continued, whether it is an action movie, a drama, a comedy, or an artsy French film, every movie worth watching must have one key ingredient. What is that ingredient? Martin answered dryly. Well, since we are talking about conflict, I'm guessing that's it. Yes, I suppose that I telegraphed that one, didn't I? Every great movie has conflict. Without it, we just don't care what happens to the characters. Catherine paused for effect before delivering her next line. Let me assure you that from now on, every staff meeting we have will be loaded with conflict, and they won't be boring. And if there is nothing worth debating, then we won't have a meeting. The team seemed to like that statement, and Catherine wanted to deliver on her promise immediately. And so, we're going to start right now. She checked her watch. We have almost 2 hours until we break today, so I thought I would have our first substantive decision-making meeting as a group. Nick objected with a serious look on his face. Catherine, I'm not sure I can do this. Caught off guard, everyone waited for an explanation. I never received an agenda. Everyone, including Jeff, laughed at the good-natured teasing of their former CEO. I don't remember why that was funny. Maybe Jeff never gave agendas. I can't really remember why. Application. Catherine wasted no time. Okay, here's the deal. Before we leave this meeting, we are going to establish something I call our overarching goal for the rest of the year. There is no reason that we can't do this now, right here today. Someone take a stab. What do you mean exactly? Jan asked. Like a theme? Yeah, the question we need to answer is this. If we do anything between now and the end of the year, what should that be? Nick and JR responded in unison. Market share. Heads around the table nodded, except Martin's and Jan's. Catherine called them out. You two don't seem convinced. What are you thinking? Martin explained. I think it's product improvement, Jan added, and I'm not sure that cost containment isn't our top priority. Gotcha. So Martin is saying that he wants product improvement, and Jan is saying that he wants cost containment. Catherine resisted the temptation to add their suggestions herself. Someone take them on. To address their suggestions herself. Someone take them on. JR obliged. Okay, I think that our technology is as good as or better than both of our top competitors. and yet they are getting more traction than we are. If we fall too far behind in terms of market capture, it won't matter what our products can do. Martin barely frowned. If that's the case, then imagine what things would look like if we fell behind in products. Even the peacemaker Carlos added, can't we have more than one overarching goal? Catherine shook her head. If everything is important, then nothing is. She resisted any further explanation, wanting the group to work through it. Jan persisted. Can someone tell me why cost containment isn't the goal? Mikey responded quickly, because if we don't find a way to make money, avoiding spending it does us no good. As annoying as Mikey's tone was, the truth of the statement could not be denied. Even Jan nodded in concession. Catherine made a quick comment. This is the most productive conversation I've heard since I've been here. Keep going. That was enough to give Jeff the courage he needed to make his point. He winced as though he didn't want to prolong the conversation. I don't know. I'm not sure that the market share is the right measure at this point. We don't really know the size of what the size of the market is and where it's headed. He paused while he decided what to say next. I think we need more good customers. Whether we have 20 more or 20 less than our competitors doesn't seem to matter as much. Mikey jumped in. That's the same as market share. I don't think so, Jeff offered non-defensively. Mikey rolled her eyes. Nick wanted to avoid a repeat of the previous day's encounter with Mikey. Listen, whether we call it market share or customers doesn't really matter. We just need to sell. Now Catherine spoke. I think it matters what you do think. I think it matters. What do you think, JR? I think Jeff is right. If we get enough solid customers, the kind who will be active references for us, then we're doing fine. Frankly, I don't care at this point what our competition is doing. That seems like a distraction more than anything else, at least until we get rolling and the market takes shape. Spam. Martin seemed annoyed now. Listen, this is the same kind of conversation we have at every meeting. If it's not market share versus revenue, it's customer retention versus satisfaction. It all seems academic to me. Catherine forced herself to be silent for a few moments as the room digested Martin's comment. Then she asked, how do those conversations usually end? Martin shrugged. We run out of time, I guess. Okay, let's bring this conversation to a close in the next 5 minutes. Does anyone here believe that the key to the next 9 months has something to do with market share, customers, revenue, etc.? If someone thinks we're in the wrong ballpark completely, speak up now and loudly. People looked at one another and shrugged as if to say, I can't think of anything better. Good, then let's come to closure on exactly what we're talking about. I'd like to hear someone make a passionate plea for the answer being revenue. JR, how about you? Well, one might argue that revenue is the right answer because we need cash, but frankly, I think that is far less important at this point than proving to the world that there are customers out there who are interested in our products. Revenue is not as important as closing deals and getting new customers. He had just talked himself out of the revenue answer. Does that make sense? It makes perfect sense to me, Catherine pushed on for clarity. So I'm not hearing anyone say that revenue is our most important goal. Jan squinted and spoke up. Are you saying that we don't need to have a revenue goal? No, we will definitely have a revenue goal. It's just that revenue is not the ultimate measure of our success right now. We've narrowed it down to market share and new customers. Someone tell me why market share is the right answer. Mikey? Market share is how analysts and the press define success. It's as simple as that. Martin countered, no, Mikey. Whenever I'm interviewed as a founder of the company, people ask me about key customers. They want marquee company names and people who are willing to vouch for us. Mikey shrugged. Catherine challenged her. Are you shrugging because you don't agree and you're giving up? Or because you feel like he made a more compelling point than you can counter? Mikey thought about it. The second one. Okay, we're down to customer acquisition. Someone tell me why this should be our collective overarching goal. This time, Catherine didn't need to call anyone out. Carlos volunteered. Because that will give the press something to write about. It will give our employees confidence. It will provide more product feedback for Martin and his engineers. And it will give us references to go out and get more customers next year. JR chimed in. Not to mention follow on sales. Ladies and gentlemen, Catherine announced, unless I hear something extremely compelling in the next 5 seconds that makes me think otherwise, I believe that we have a primary goal. Members of the staff looked at each other as if to say, are we really agreeing on something? But Catherine wasn't through yet. She wanted specifics. How many new customers do we need to get? The group seemed to be invigorated by the tangible nature of the discussion. For the next 30 minutes, they debated the number of new customers they could and should acquire. Jan lobbied for the most, followed by Nick and Mikey. JR was frustrated and argued hard for the fewest, wanting to keep his quota low so as not to discourage his salespeople. Jeff, Carlos, and Martin were somewhere in between. As the debate seemed to be running out of steam, Catherine jumped in. Okay, unless someone is holding something back, I think I've heard all the opinions in the room. And we are probably not going to agree completely, which is fine because there is no science here. I'm going to set the number based on your input, and we are going to stick with that number. She paused for a moment, then continued. Jan, we aren't going to do 30 deals this year, even though I know how much you'd love that revenue on the books. And JR, I can appreciate your desire to keep your folks motivated, but 10 is not enough. Our competitors are doing more than double that, and the analysts will throw up all over us if we come in at 10. JR seemed to offer no resistance to Catherine's logic. She continued, I think that if we can close 18 new customers, with at least 10 being willing to be active references, we will be doing well. She paused to allow any last comments. When none came, she declared, all right, we will have 18 new customers by December 31st. No one could deny that in 20 minutes the team had made more progress than they normally did during a month of meetings. Over the next hour, they drilled down on the issue of new customers, discussing what each person, from marketing to finance to engineering, would need to do to make 18 deals possible. With 15 minutes to spare before the offsite was to officially end, Catherine decided to bring things to a close. Okay, let's call it a day. We'll be having a staff meeting next week when we can dig deeper into some of these and other critical issues. The group seemed relieved to be finished. Catherine asked one final question. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns people want to raise before we leave? No one wanted to bring up a topic that would delay their departures, but Nick decided to make one comment. I have to say that I think we made more progress during these past 2 days than I thought we would. Jan and Carlos nodded in agreement. Mikey, to everyone's surprise, didn't roll her eyes. Catherine wasn't sure whether Nick was trying to make points with her or whether he really appreciated what had happened. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt and take the muted compliment to heart. Then JR spoke. I agree with Nick. We accomplished a lot here, and getting clarity around our major goal is really going to help. Catherine sensed that there was a qualifier coming, and she was right. JR continued, I'm just wondering if we need to continue having these offsites now. I mean, we've come a long way, and we're going to have a lot of work over the next few months to close deals. Maybe we can just see how things go. He didn't really finish the remark, but let it hang there. Martin, Mikey, and Nick were cautiously nodding their heads in agreement. Whatever sense of accomplishment that Catherine had felt just a few minutes earlier had diminished significantly. As much as she wanted to put a quick and violent end to JR's suggestion, Catherine waited to see if anyone would do it for her. Just when she thought no one would help her, Jeff spoke up and demonstrated that he had indeed taken many of Catherine's ideas to heart. I'd have to say that canceling our next session in 2 weeks would be a bad idea. I just think that when we go back to work, it's going to be easy to slip back into the same stuff we've been struggling with for the past couple of years. And as painfully as it's been for me to sit here for the past few days and realize how unsuccessful I've been in making us work like a team, we have a long way to go yet. Jan and Carlos nodded their heads in agreement. Catherine used the opportunity to prepare her team for what was to come. She addressed her initial comment to JR and Nick. I appreciate your desire to spend as much of your time as possible closing deals. She was being slightly disingenuous, but wanted to avoid slamming them too hard too early. However, I want to remind you about what I said at the beginning of this session yesterday. We have more money, better technology, and a more talented and experienced executives than our competitors, and yet we are behind. What we lack is teamwork, and I can promise you all that I have no greater priority as a CEO than making you, I mean us, more effective as a group. Mikey, Martin, and Nick seemed to be relenting now, but Catherine continued. And what I'm about to say is more important than any other comment I've made since we arrived yesterday. She paused for effort. During the next 2 weeks, I am going to be pretty intolerant of behavior that demonstrates an absence of trust or focus on individual ego. I will be encouraging conflict, driving for clear commitments, and expecting all of you to hold each other accountable. I will be calling out bad behavior when I see it, and I'd like to see you doing the same. We don't have time to waste. The room was silent. Okay, we'll be back here again in 2 weeks. Drive carefully, everyone, and I'll see you in the office tomorrow. As everyone packed up and headed to the door, Catherine wanted to feel good about what she had accomplished. However, she forced herself to face the likely prospect that things would have to get worse, maybe even much worse, before they get better. Even most of the staff members seemed to be sobered by the likely prospect of ongoing pain, and none of them would have been surprised to know that one of their colleagues wouldn't be around the next time off-site began. They would have been shocked, however, to know that the colleague would not be Mikey. Sorry, I got distracted checking if my baby was still sleeping. They're going to be back in 2 weeks for another off-site. Things were going to get much worse before they got better. Someone is not going to be there 2 weeks later when they have their second off-site. Fun, fascinating, interesting. Very, very cool. Okay. Well. I had a good time reading. It was very, very fun. My sweet little baby is still sleeping, so that's encouraging. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go take. Maybe I'll pull a picture from. I'll do it like this. I was maybe gonna pull a picture from the actual video that I took for that first day's video, but this is how I'm gonna do it. I'll put my baby monitor up here. And I left my cell phone outside, so we'll go grab that. It's been super fun to be reading this book on camera, and I'm excited for at the end of this to have these videos for my YouTube channel. To have these videos for my YouTube channel and to be able to pull the transcripts, and I think it'll be fun. Let's go like this. Cool. This is what the image kind of looks like for that one. That'll be the thumbnail for that other video. And I'll go take a thumbnail for the third one as well, because I like this stove so much. We'll go like that. Let's get something to hold that down. It's going to be right there, but I need something to kind of hold it down. We'll go like this. Take these. These will be good. Okay, it's going to go like that. It's perfect. Honestly, what would it be like if I just went like that? That's probably even better. All right. Let's flip it like that. Just try to get no glare on this. I don't know if I'm able to pull that off. If I go a little bit lower, trying to get it good, maybe a little closer. Maybe like, that's not really what I want. Okay, I'm gonna go like this. Set it like that. I kind of like it from an angle. Maybe I want to come up higher. I don't know, I'm struggling with this one. All right, that's good enough. I don't really like it. I think I'm gonna get another picture. Maybe like that. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Sure, one of those will work. Cool. Well, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team is the book I've been reading. Let's go like this. I have now read through part 2, and I'll go grab a highlighter and highlight that part. I still have part 3, which is heavy lifting. I still have part 4, which is transaction, and then I have the model, which will be fun to read. But I am right here, about to start heavy lifting on the next video. Probably about halfway done with this book. Maybe that's the photo I want. Let's try this photo. Maybe just like that. It's kind of a nice photo. Yeah, maybe that'll be the one. Anyways, I think that might be as much as I read today. Let's get it to track my face again. That might be as much as I read today. I'm at least going to end this video and reconsider where I want to set up, if I want to set up somewhere different. Yeah, happy enough. It took me 38 minutes to read 14 pages, but I talked a lot about a bunch of other stuff. You can see forest home. You can hear, I can hear, I don't know if the video can hear, but I can hear the lake, I can hear the field. I don't think I can hear the what do you call it? The mud bowl, but this is the house that we've gotten to stay at. This is for bears so they don't linger around the house too much. But just do a quick little walk. Ooh, I see some poop. I don't know what kind of poop that is. Maybe it's bear poop, but maybe it's something else. It's a little small to be bear poop. But this is this house. I think it's a very cool house. Cool view of the mountain right behind it. It's called the Hospitality House. I think it was built by Cru, C-R-U, Christian Ridiculous Unity. I don't know what Cru stands for. But anyways, that's that. You can kind of see down the hill, down that way. Redlands is down the hill. Yucaipa is down the hill from here. We're in Forest Falls, California, where I met my wife. We met working here at this camp center. This camp center is called Lakeview. There's that roof right there. That is the house I used to live in. And the house right next door, which you can just barely see the chimney poking right there. That's where my wife lived. We lived next door to each other that first summer that I met her. Yeah, super great. That was in the year 2017. So I feel very, very blessed to have met my wife here and to still be getting to come up here and be blessed. My family's been super blessed by being up here, and I pray that we've been an encouragement and a blessing to the staff up here. We love it up here. We really, really love it up here. Be a good hammock spot right there between these two trees. I don't think we have a hammock with us, otherwise I'd say, hey, I'll film my next video right there. Maybe if I do another one while we're still up here, I could sit at that table. I could go somewhere else. Maybe I'll go read the next one in the prayer chapel, because I like the prayer chapel. That would be a fun spot to read a little bit more of this book. It'd be super fun. But anyways, that is where I'm going to leave this one. It's been fun getting to read this book. So I don't really have anything else to say. So.
All right, Albert, you are good too.
Yeah, God is good.